Hi, I'm Sahar,
And I'm Shreya. Welcome to our show, Only Spoilers.
where I tell Shreya about a book that I've read or a movie that I've watched. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the movie Bachna Ae Haseeno. Are you going to watch it, Shreya?
Definitely not.
Then let me tell you all about it.
Okay.
Okay, let me see when this movie came out. Do you want to guess by the time I Google it?
Okay, I want to guess like 2004. My sister wasn't born by then, but she was alive when. I mean, she was birthed into the world by then when the movie came out. So I would say like 2007.
8.
Okay.
You missed it by 1 year.
I was so close.
Because I was thinking, is this 2008, 2010? But it can't be 8. Every single movie I think about somehow came out in 2008. So, but I mean, it was 2008.
Yeah, 2010 is too old
That's true.
for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this guy named Raj. He is narrating the story of his life. He talks about love, how it changes people's lives. It's some people's, purpose of living, just to live for someone else, to feel love, to give love. But then not everybody is lucky enough to experience it in their lives. Not everybody gets their one true love. But then he says that in his lifetime, he experienced it 3 times. So going back in his history, in 1996, when Raj was a fresh graduate from high school, he went on a trip to Europe with his high school friends. And they are on the Euro Trail in Switzerland. And these are kids who grew up watching DDLJ and romanticizing Europe for that reason, right? And there are also young boys who are like, oh, let's just go on a trip. Maybe we'll find pretty girls there. That mentality. So
everyone has the same mission.
Yeah, exactly.
On a vacation, they're like, we're gonna bag a beautiful chick.
Yeah. So they're on the train. They're like, oh my God, we're in Switzerland. We haven't seen a single hot girl. Where are all the girls? What happened to all these movies that told us that, you find your love? These guys are not looking for love. They're just looking for pretty girls. So Raj is like, fine, whatever, maybe let's see the next stop we get off on. Maybe there will be some girls there. So he gets up to go to the restroom, and in the same compartment of the train, there's another 4 Indian girls who are also on the trip after high school with the same hopes that, oh my God, I'm going to find my Raj here, the Raj from DDLJ, like Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
That's their dream. So this girl, Mahi, who's a huge romantic, has watched DDLJ 17 times, is just manifesting, like, she's going to find her one true love on this trip. So she also gets up to go to the restroom, and she runs into our Raj, who's Ranbir Kapoor. And then she gets flustered, he gets flustered. They both run back to their friends, and they're like, oh my God, I found cute girls. And the guys are like, oh my God, I found pretty boys, pretty girls and stuff. So they decide to meet up with these girls when they get off on the next station. So these guys try to go up to and talk to the girls, but Mahi's parents are chaperoning them on the trip. So this guy is Raj's best friend, Sachin, tries to go and talk to these girls, but he gets scared away by the dad because he's like a tall Sardarji. And Sachin runs back to his friends, but he eavesdrops these girls' conversations and finds out stuff about all 4 of them, and they all pick one girl. He's like, oh, this one is mine, this one is mine. So Raj,
there's 4 guys too?
4 guys and 4 girls, okay. Yeah. So Raj picks Mahi because she's the cutest one. And then Sachin tells Raj that, Mahi is looking for her Raj. And he's like, oh, then I'm the perfect guy. I'm going to go butter her up. So these girls are in a bookstore. And then Mahi hears the soundtrack from DDLJ, like the main soundtrack that plays throughout the movie. And she's like, wait, am I just hallucinating it? What's happening? So she runs out of the bookstore, and you know how those musicians are just standing outside on streets playing music? So there's this huge band of people playing music, and there's this one guy who's like directing them, and they're playing the music from DDLJ, and she's all mesmerized by it. She's like, oh my God, my dream is coming true. And then
wait, can I give you a small tangent?
Yeah.
So one time I went to this sushi place in Davis with my uncle, and then we were walking out and there's this violin guy, right? And he's just playing it because it's downtown or whatever. He was playing like Mozart, whatever. Immediately when he saw us brown folk, he started playing DDLJ.
No way.
And he was like looking at us and I was like,
oh my god.
Is this?
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding,
And he was
ding,
walking up to us with the violin too. And I was like, man, like, what are you doing?
Oh my god.
Do you want our money? I was like, play another song. I'm over this. But good for her, I guess.
So she runs behind him, and then the song ends and he walks away, and then she follows him, tries to talk to him, but she misses her train in the process of following this guy. And she's all scared and crying, it's like, oh my god, my family's on the train. So on the train, Mahi's parents think that Mahi is with her friends, and the friends think that maybe she's with her parents. So nobody walks up to check if Mahi is actually on the train. And then Raj also got on the train, but he sees her stranded on the station. So I don't know how, Bollywood logic, he somehow ends up disembarking from the train. He gets down and then he runs back to the station, and she's there all upset, worried, what is she gonna do now? And then he goes and stands there nonchalantly, like tries to, like, he clears his throat and gets her attention. And he's like, oh, are you also waiting for the train? And Mahi's like, what train? Did you not see we missed the train? He's like, no, this is, that's not possible. It's okay. I mean, she starts crying. It's like, I have to go get to Zurich somehow. I have my flight back to India is tomorrow. My family is going to be worried about me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even have a phone. Like, this is 2008. Nobody carries a cell phone these days. So Raj is like, don't worry, I'm here. I'll help you. So he goes to this ticket booth in the station, and then he asks when the next train to Zurich is, and the guy there tells him that there's a train in 3 hours at 6 p.m. in the evening. And then he's like, okay, what about the one after that? And then he says, okay, the next one is like 6 a.m. the next morning. So Raj takes this information, goes to Mahi and tells him, yeah, the next train is tomorrow morning. Because he wants to spend more time with her, maybe hook up with her. So Mahi's like, oh my god, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even have enough money. Let's just rent a car and, like, drive to Zurich. You also missed your train. So he's like, I don't have enough money for that. Let's just stay here and catch the train tomorrow. She's like, no, that's, like, cutting too close. I can't miss my flight back to India. She, at this point, she also likes the guy, but she's, she still has like self-preservation, so she's scared and everything. So Raj, whatever money he had, he rents a moped and then decides to drive down to Zurich. So on the way, they're like getting to know each other and everything. Turns out Mahi, when she goes back to India, is supposed to get engaged to someone, and but she says like, "Oh, I'm a very lucky person. Like every time I am in a bind, like something happens, and I just things work out for me." And then Raj is like, "What are you talking about? You missed your damn train, and now you're stuck with me." She's like, "No, but if you're with me, everything good is going to happen to you." So he's like, fine. But then he realizes that, they're gonna read Zurich in a few hours and he's not gonna get to spend more time with her. So he fakes that, oh, we're running out of gas and I don't have any money left, because she doesn't really have that much cash. Whatever money he had, he spent on renting the moped. So he's like, oh, let's just get a room somewhere. And she's like, who's gonna give us a room at this hour? Apparently it's really late at night. So they just end up sitting on a bench outside a hotel, or outside a restaurant or somewhere on the street, and then they're talking to each other. He's trying to get close to her, but she's like a little shy and everything. And then that's when she tells Raj that she's going to get engaged. And then he realizes that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. I thought, like, because he's like, oh, I feel bad now. This girl belongs to someone else. So he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. If I knew that you were gonna get engaged, I wouldn't have like done this. I feel bad. Like I just lied to you about the running out of gas and stuff. Let's just go. And she's like, no, it's okay. You were gonna say something. So he pulls out like a paper from his pocket and he reads this poem to her, and then she's so mesmerized by it, and then they kiss because she's very happy, like, yeah, I like you too, there's something is happening. And like, yeah, he's also like, do you feel it? Like, do you feel the difference? Just cheesy Bollywood stuff. So and then I don't know where they spend the night. That's not shown in the movie. The next day, they're driving back to Zurich. There's a whole song where she's falling in love with him and like she finds him very cute and all of that. They finally end up at Zurich airport on time. Mahi's father is very happy, very grateful to Raj for, giving her daughter back to him safely and all of that. And then Mahi is sad that she's gonna leave Raj here and she wants to spend more time with him. She obviously is now in love with this man. So she's like, okay, you have to promise me to come meet me in Amritsar. He's like, yeah, definitely. I will come see you. I really like you and all of that. And she goes to the check-in counter to catch her flight. And then Raj is also catching a flight back to somewhere maybe back to India with his friends. So his friends are also waiting for him at the airport. And then when he walks up to his friends, he's acting all macho, right? He's like, oh my God, I had the best night of my life, blah, 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 blah. Like, we did everything. He's just talking really badly about this girl who he just kissed, and he's just showing off to his friends. He's like, yeah, what is love? Like, I just met her. I wanted her. So went and got her, all of that nonsense. And Mahi is talking about all cutely. It's like, oh, it was so sweet. It was like a dream come true. It was like straight out of my fantasy. And like, here, look at this poem that he wrote me. She pulls out that paper and it's blank. So he just made that shit up to impress her. There was nothing on that paper, and Mahi is just heartbroken.
Wait,
and
did he read out the poem to her?
Yeah, he pretended to, but it was just, he was just good at rhyming, so he just said 4 sentences to her. So she walks up to him to clarify, like, what is this? Like, why did you hand me this blank paper? And she overhears him talking like this to his friends. And then the friends leave, and Raj turns around, sees Mahi standing there, and then she's crying, obviously upset with him. And then he doesn't say anything, and they go their separate ways. Then 6 years later, in 2002, Raj is now done with college. He has a good job in Mumbai. He bagged a really nice job with Microsoft. So he's living his life in Mumbai, right? He's living alone in a studio apartment and earning a lot of money, just having the time of his life, right? One day, the day he moved into his apartment, I think he works really late at night, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed. It's like 10 a.m. The moment he tries to sleep, his neighbor starts playing really loud music, and Raj bangs on the wall. He's like, turn down the music, like this is no time to play music so loud, blah 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 blah. The neighbor is like, shut the fuck up, like who sleeps at this time and all of that. But Raj is really adamant. He goes and bangs on his neighbor's door. A very pretty woman opens it, and he's mesmerized by her. And then he's like, oh, I didn't mean to be a bother, but like, can you turn down the music? I'm just trying to sleep. She's like, oh, she also like, is like, oh, this is a cute guy and he's my neighbor. So she's like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, do you usually sleep at this time? He's like, yeah, but if you want to play the music, you can, like, I can put headphones on. She's like, no, I'll just turn it down and all of that. So this girl, Radhika, who's also living in Mumbai to be a model, she's really pretty, and is Raj's neighbor. And now that they've seen each other and they know their neighbors, they start bumping into each other. He tries to go and like, ask for sugar, and she comes over to his place to ask for something just so they can see each other. Eventually they, start dating, they fall in love, and now they're living together. So because their adjoined apartments were like studio apartments, so they break down the wall in the middle and make it a huge big apartment. So they live together, and it's been a year and a half since they're together. They're really happy. Everything, she's doing really well in her career. She's a very top model now. He's doing really well with Microsoft, and him and Sachin, his best friend, they both got hired for Microsoft. So they're working on a video game, and they sign on to design a video game for Microsoft. And then the company says, okay, now we're gonna move you to Sydney because we want you to develop and work on it there. You can move to our Sydney office. Raj is very happy. Sachin is very happy. Like, their careers are progressing just how they dreamt they would. But then Raj asks, so have you told Radhika yet? Like, is she gonna move with us? And Raj is like, no, obviously not. And then Sachin is like, wait, you guys have been together for almost 2 years. Obviously, she'll want to move with you, right? Like, have you told her yet? Raj hasn't even told Radhika about this big job
But he already accepted
opportunity.
it.
He already accepted it. He is already dreaming about like moving to Sydney, living his life up there. He's not even thinking about Radhika because that he's that kind of guy. He doesn't care about these things. So Raj says, "Oh, Radhika will understand. You know, she's a modern girl. She's not the one. She's not the type to think about marriage and kids and all of these things. Even if I don't tell her, even if I were to leave, she'll be fine with it." But Sachin is like, "That's not fair. At least tell her. You know, at least break up with her if you don't want her to come with us to Sydney." So Raj goes home and tells Radhika about the job in Sydney, and he plays the victim. He's like, "Oh baby, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't tell you before. Everything happened so fast. Like I only have 5 weeks to finish all the visa paperwork and move and all of that. I hope you understand." And then he says that, and Radhika is very serious. She's a little upset by him, and then she's like, "Okay, I mean, I can work with that. We can move in 5 weeks. We'll have to get married in the court because there's not enough time for a full-fledged wedding, but I can get everything ready in like 5 weeks." Raj is shocked. He's like, whoa, 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 what? I thought you were a modern girl, like air quotations, modern girl. You wouldn't be thinking about wedding and stuff. And then he's completely shocked by Radhika's behavior, but he doesn't say anything. He's still trying to find an escape route. Okay, without breaking up with this girl, he wants to just, make her break up with him. So he comes up with like these ideas like, oh, maybe if I tell her that my mom isn't agreeing to it and she wants me to get married to someone else, maybe she'll break up with me then. But turns out Radhika calls up his mom and then befriends her and like tells her everything that, oh yes, hi mom, we're gonna get married. And Raj's mother is very happy, and he's like, and she tells Raj like, why didn't you introduce me to this lovely girl before? And Raj is like, fuck, that plan also backfired. Then he's like, oh, maybe if I, and Sachin is like, maybe tell him that, you're infertile. Maybe if you tell her that you can't have babies, she'll break up with you then. Because if now she's a marriage kind, maybe she'll also want kids of her own, right? So Raj tells her this, and she's like, that's okay. I mean, I really wanted kids of my own, but any kids we adopt are going to be still mine. And Raj is like, oh my God, what I'm going to do with this woman? Like, nothing I tell her is, making her break up with me. But he still doesn't understand that he's found the perfect woman. Like, keep her.
He could pull out the I'm homophobic card.
This is 2008 India. Everybody is homophobic
That's
in this
true.
movie at this point.
He could pull out the I'm anti-abortion.
Mm-hmm.
What else? He could pull out a lot of things. So
Yeah.
the girl would just be like, no.
Yeah.
But like for the ones that he did come up with, fair game.
Yeah. So she's like, and then they finally go to the court. They find they sign their marriage license, and they get a date fixed for like 8th August. And the registrar is like, okay, come back on this day at this time and bring 3 witnesses. And Radhika is all very happy. Then one day she walks into the apartment, and Raj is having his bachelor party at the apartment, and she gets really upset. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, she starts packing a bag.
What's at the bachelor party? Is it just like
it's Sachin and then a bunch of strippers, just them in their apartment? I was like, go somewhere else at least, right? So Radhika comes home. She gets upset when she sees this, and she starts packing a bag. Raj is like, baby, what happened? Like, where are you going? She's like, I think I'm gonna go stay over with my friend for a bit. You've been acting really weird for the past several weeks. Like, is there something that I have done wrong? Like, what is it? Are you mad at me? Am I not doing enough? Like, I'm also under a lot of pressure. I'm trying to make you happy and make everything here sort out so we can leave and live our life in Sydney. And he's like, no, everything is fine. I think it's fine. You go stay with your friend. I'll see you at the wedding, right? Come August 8th, Radhika is there dressed in a red suit. She has her mehendi on. She's very excited to get married and everything. And then she's there with her best friends who are going to be her witnesses and stuff. And then an hour goes by, 2 hours, 3 hours. She waits all night or like all day. Raj never shows up. And then Radhika's friend calls Raj's office to see what happened. Maybe he's stuck at work. Turns out he took a flight early in the morning to Sydney. So he left her without saying anything. While she was staying at her friend's and getting ready for the wedding at the courthouse, this man was packing up his bags, and then he got a flight and relocated to Sydney
What
without
the
saying
fuck?
anything to Radhika. Yeah. Then, moving on.
Hold on. Hold on a second. What? That's so shitty.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the balls to break up with her.
No.
He just wants to give her excuses so she'll break up with him.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I'm not the best. Like,
Mhm.
okay. Next.
Yeah. So now Raj has been living in Sydney for about 5 years. This is 2007. He's living it up in Sydney. His work is doing really well. He's earning a shit ton of money and all of that. But his life, like his personal life, is still just drinking and hooking up with random people every single day. Like he still hasn't settled down. He still doesn't believe in love. Not neither has his best friend. Like Sachin is also like we're the bachelors and like blah 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 blah. All that toxic masculinity.
Did Sachin not find love
No.
in Zurich or wherever?
No, they don't believe in love. None
Oh.
of these men believe in love. They don't want to
Right.
be the married with 2 kids in a house kind of people.
Right. Because they're not forward thinking like, I could have love, but I don't necessarily need to have kids. to
Yeah,
have love.
because they just don't believe in love. They're like, oh yeah, shadi is just a jhanjat.
Okay, so but they still want to what? To hook up with girls?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was watching this movie, I was like, oh my god,
This would not pass.
cringe 100.
Yeah.
No, it will not. This movie did not age well.
Yeah, it did
I
not.
wanted to throw my laptop across the room when I was watching it. I was like, how the fuck did this fly
Yeah.
at this time?
This would not have been good.
No.
But you know what? That explains the shittiness of men today in this age.
Yeah.
Because they grew up watching this movie,
Mhm.
you know? So this was instilled into their heads like, oh, I can fuck around
Yeah.
and everything. Girls are just girls, blah, blah, blah. So we just need to let this movie pass,
Yeah.
do its time,
Mhm.
so that people don't get influenced by it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And start to believe in love.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to marry.
No.
Just be in love.
Yes, exactly. So coming to that point, now in Sydney.
Oh, wait. Can I just say?
Yeah.
I hope that he finds someone that he wants to marry, but then she's like, I don't want to marry you.
Oh, girl.
I hope so. Okay, now tell me.
Okay. So now he's in Sydney. One night he goes out to the bar with Sachin again, like they're, trying to pick up a girl and go home and everything. So Raj is in a cab with this girl. He's making out with her and he gets her name wrong. He calls her Bianca, but her name was some Tina or something. And then she's like, what did you call me? He's giving me flashbacks or whatever. Right?
We should really do a video for our podcast because I think about it and I was like, the silence, the laughing, like when I'm editing this, and I'm listening back, I'm like, there's so many pauses. And I'm like, it's because of our expression.
Yeah.
It's because of our dying laughter. Oh my God.
Okay, so the girl gets mad at him and she's like, stop the cab, I'm gonna get down right here. And she leaves him and Raj is like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. Like, Bianca, oh no, it's Tina. And then the cab driver starts laughing at him. Turns out it's an Indian girl who's driving a cab at like 3 a.m. at night. And Raj is like, wait, you're Indian? And she's like, yeah, I am. Is there a problem? He's like, don't you feel unsafe driving at night alone driving stranger. She's like, no, I have a baseball bat in my trunk and I know taekwondo, so you should be scared of me.
Yeah.
And he introduces himself like her name is Gayatri and everything. And then she, hold on, my, okay. So she drops him off wherever he's supposed to go, and she gives him, Gayatri gives Raj her business cards, like, if you need a cab, just call my number, I'll come pick you up. And he's like, okay, fine. The next day, Raj is in the office and he can't stop thinking about Gayatri. He's like, oh my God, like he tells Sachin, like, I met the most different kind of Indian girl I've ever met. She's independent. She has her own cab, job, blah, 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 blah. So a few days later, Raj calls up Gayatri to pick him up from somewhere. And he's sitting on a park bench only in his underwear because he kicked out of the house that he was in with like the girl he was hooking up, and like she's throwing his clothes over the balcony and Gayatri is laughing at him and everything. So, and it was again pretty late at night. So Raj is like, do you know any places to get food like at this point at this time? She's like, yeah, sure. So they go grab some food and they're just sitting watching the sunrise, and he gets to like he asks her about what she is doing here and everything. So Gayatri is she goes to business school in the morning and she drives a cab at night to pay for the school, and she's really independent and everything, and she's very happy with her life. And but Raj is like, oh, you're gonna turn out like every Indian girl. Do you isn't your dream also to marry an NRI and like live with a family, have two kids, and have your whole house figured out and stuff? And she's like, no, I'm not that kind of a person. I don't believe in marriage, and I like my life how it is right now. I am living a very fulfilled life. I don't want to live my life on somebody else's terms. I'm very happy with what I am right now.
Period.
So Raj is really impressed by this. He's like, oh, okay, that's great. And then she drops him wherever, and then they start hanging out more. He calls her up every time he needs to go somewhere else, and she's also she also starts liking him. They spend a lot of time with each other. And then on the last day of her exams, he surprises her with a trip to Europe. So they go on a trip, and like at this point they're dating. And the song Khuda Jane, all of that happens in Santorini. Exactly.
I love
So
that
that song happens and everything. And then when they come back from that trip, Raj realizes that he really loves Gayatri. And then he tells Sachin that I'm going to propose to her. I want to marry her. God, what happened to my ear? Keeps popping. Sorry. So Sachin is like, what? What are you saying? Like, you're going to leave me alone in this bachelor life? Are you sure?
Sachin, go fuck yourself.
Trash. Seriously. He's like, Raj is like, no, I finally found the one. She's the best and everything. I'm going to propose to Gayatri. So the next day, Raj prepares this whole elaborate proposal with twinkly lights in a park and everything. He walks her up, there's like candles, and he proposes to her. And then Gayatri's like, are you serious? And then he's like, what do you mean? She's like, I told you that I don't believe in marriage. I told you I don't ever want to get married. Why are you still proposing to me? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, don't you love me? She's like, yeah, I do. I do love you. But does that mean that it always has to end up in marriage? I don't want to live my life according to your terms, because if we were to get married, would you let me work at a gas station? She also works at a grocery store, not a gas station, it's a grocery store, because she's independent, she's paying her way through school. She's like, once we get married, are you going to let me do that? Are you going to let me drive a cab late at night? If I come home really late, you're going to complain about it. You're going to complain that I don't spend enough time with you. What is the point of all of that? When I am happy in what I am right now, you just want to change everything because it fits a a template in your head, or it checks a box in your head. So no, I am refusing your proposal, and I don't think we should see each other, because if love is always supposed to end up in marriage, then I don't know what love is, and this is not love. She breaks up with him and leaves.
Good.
And you predicted it really well. I mean, accurately.
That should be it.
Yeah, he deserved that. He definitely deserved that. And in that moment of heartbreak, like true heartbreak that he has experienced, he remembers Mahi and Radhika. He realizes that how shitty of a person he was to them and how bad those two women would have felt. So he cries, and then he tries to talk to Gayatri a lot. She's ignoring him, completely cut contact with him. So Raj decides that he's going to go back to India and then find Radhika and Mahi and apologize to them. So Sachin tries to stop him. Sachin's like, "What the fuck are you doing? It's been 12 years since you last saw Mahi and everything. Like, it's bygones be bygones. Like, come on." Raj is like, "No, this is like my karma and
Yeah, I love
everything."
to open up wounds and just stitch them up myself.
Yeah,
you know?
he's like, I did those women really wrong. I have to atone for my sins, right? So he flies to Amritsar. That's in Punjab, in India. And he finds where Mahi lives. Turns out she is now married and has 2 sons. So when Raj goes up to her house, her kids come out, and then her husband comes out. And then Raj introduces himself. He's like, "Hi, I'm Raj Sharma. I am Mahi's friend." And the husband instantly recognizes Raj by the name. And then he's like, you motherfucker. And he punches him.
Yes.
Knocks him out.
I'm glad.
Takes him to a forest. Like,
Great.
this is a little bit inspired by DDLJ. Like, these scenes also happened in DDLJ. So he takes him to a jungle and tries to intimidate him, like points a gun at him and everything. He's like, "Leave now. What you did 12 years ago, I'm still paying for it. Because what you did to Mahi, she became a completely different person. She's closed off to love, to anything. She doesn't even cry anymore. Like, I can't get a single emotion out of her. I have a perfect wife. I have a perfect house. I have the perfect kids. But the woman I love is just a shell of a person. You did that. What you did 12 years ago, I'm still paying for that. If you were to do something more now, I'm not going to spend another 12 years, mending what you broke." So Raj is like, no, I please just, let me apologize. I am really sorry. I realize what I've done. Mahi's husband is like, "Fuck off." He leaves Raj in the middle of the jungle and drives back. But Raj is not ready to give up. He's like, "No fucking way that, no fucking way that, I came all this way and I'm not going to give up right now." So he finds his way back to Amritsar. Like, his Mahi's husband left him halfway back to Delhi apparently. So he finds his way back to Amritsar, and then he's sitting at a bar and he finds out that Mahi's younger sister is getting married in a few days. So he befriends Mahi's sister's to be husband. This is also straight out of DDLJ. And he befriends the soon to be groom and then gets invited to the wedding because he actually wants to see Mahi and, apologize to her. So he ends up going to the wedding. Mahi's best friend recognizes Raj, and she's like, "If this guy, the groom, your sister's groom, is friends with Raj, then I don't think she should get married to him because, he was a trash bag. He was a douchebag. What if your sister's husband turns out to be that way?" So that this wedding is in jeopardy, but Mahi is like, "No, let's just, ignore him, and I can ask somebody else to ask him to leave." So Mahi's husband is like, "What the fuck are you doing here? I told you to leave." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to leave. I want to just talk to Mahi for once." So he somehow tricks the kids to get Mahi in a room so he can talk to her. He finally sees her. Mahi is shocked. She's like, "Why are you here now, Raj?" And he's like, "I'm so sorry. I really want to apologize to you. I was a child. I hurt you really bad. But because of what I did, you are doing the same thing to your husband. Like, he really loves you. He's the Raj you've been looking for. And you closed up yourself to everything. Just, open up your eyes, forgive me, and then see what you are losing. It's right in front of you. Your Raj is your husband." So, all of that cheesy stuff he says. And then Mahi is like, "Oh, maybe, he is right." And then Raj sings a song. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, I like that
So that whole song sequence happens, and then Mahi finally realizes that, her husband is a really nice guy. She should appreciate him more. And then she forgives Raj, accepts her husband. They become a really happy family, and then Raj moves on. Like, he leaves. His job here is done. Then he finds out now he's going to look for Radhika, right? Radhika became a really big model, and then she started doing ads and music videos and stuff. And she's doing a show in Mumbai. So he goes there to see her. And after the show, when she's coming out of the building, he's standing in like among the fans that are screaming for her and everything, and he tries to stop her car, and she sees him from the window of her car but doesn't stop for him. she's like, whoever is that man, just, get him out of my way. I have to go. She's become a really hard, cold bitch kind of a person, treats her personal assistants and stuff really badly. She's like, I did not ask for this water. Who asked you to question me back? I asked for this reservation. Get me this reservation. No questions asked. And then the assistant is like, but ma'am, it's like Saturday. I was like, did I ask you a question? You're fired. That kind of, she becomes a bitch. So and the next day she has to go to Italy for something, so she flies off. Raj finds this out, so he also flies out to Italy to see her, apologize to her. The house she's living in, he's like, please let me in, I'm a friend of Radhika, but the security guards are not letting him in. So then Radhika's like, fine, let him in, I want to see what he has to say. He sees Radhika and he's again like, I'm really sorry, blah 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 blah. And Radhika is like, how desperate are you for my forgiveness? He's like, really, I really want your forgiveness. She's like, okay, I was supposed to hire a personal assistant today. I'm gonna not hire that person. You are my PA now. Tomorrow, 7 a.m., report for duty and all of that. So he's like, okay, at least I got a chance with her. So she makes him do all kinds of odd jobs. Like, I have this party, you have to waiter for it. Grab me a coffee, this temperature, this flavor, my dry cleaning, don't be late. And like, don't talk back to me because you're a personal assistant, you're not a human, you don't have, like, whatever I tell you, you have to do it, kind of really hard person. And then she throws a bunch of paper over her balcony that like fly everywhere in her pool and on the beach in the ocean, and she's like, go bring those back. So Raj literally, fishes paper out of the swimming pool, wades into the ocean to grab each and every paper that she had thrown away, and like gives her, and like she's running him ragged but still not giving him a chance. But one night, he's um, applying nail polish on her toes. And then she's like, so Raj, and he's very happy. He's like, oh, finally, she addressed me, right? Oh, and then Radhika has also changed her name to Shreya. Yeah, Shreya Rathor.
Oh.
So she doesn't go by Radhika anymore.
Mhm.
So, and then she tells Raj, like, do not call me Radhika. That person doesn't exist anymore. I am Shreya. And to you, I'm ma'am. So shut the fuck up.
Oh.
So she's finally talks to him and she's like, why are you back now? Like, what happened over the years? So he tells him that, I fell in love with someone and they broke my heart and they rejected me. So I realized how unfair it was to you what I did. And she's like, you can't even begin to imagine what I went through the day you left me. I thought it was my wedding day. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. And you left me in front of that courthouse with no answer, no nothing. I spent 2 years loving you. And then do you know what that did to me? I became the worst person ever. I thought if nobody else, like, she did not let people near her after that because she's like, she couldn't trust anyone. And all of that, and she's like, you don't deserve my forgiveness. I don't ever want to see you. Get the hell out of here. So without giving Raj her forgiveness, she sends him on the way. And then Raj is like, oh my god, I mean, it's okay. I always knew they, maybe they won't forgive me, and I understand how hurt Radhika is from my actions. If she doesn't forgive me, it's fine. Like, I tried my best. So he's at the airport catching a flight back to Sydney. And then Radhika comes back, like, comes after him to the airport. And she's like, even though you hurt me, you also made me the person who I am today. Like, if I didn't go through that heartbreak, I wouldn't have achieved what I achieved in my life because of what you did to me. So, and I am tired. I am really tired of hating you every day. So for my own sake, I'm forgiving you. This is over. I don't ever want to think about this anymore. Go live your life, be happy. I'm going to live my life now differently because I'm letting go of all the hate and everything. So Raj is very happy. He apologizes again. Radhika is now smiling again. Like, she has reverted back from her Shreya self to Radhika self. And she's like, yeah, I mean, whatever, thank you. And they hug, and like he goes back to his life in Sydney.
Cool.
Then now that he's back in Sydney, he goes to his apartment, and the moment he opens the door, his whole floor is covered in letters. And he's like, what the fuck? And he picks them up. It's a letter from Radhika for every single day he was gone. She's like, I'm sorry, I miss you, I really love you. And then she's also angry. She's like, why the fuck won't you reply to me? And like, I opened my heart to you, I think I was really harsh and everything, just talk to me and all of that. And he's like, oh my god, like, he's really happy. And then another letter comes through his door, and he's like, oh my god, Radhika is here. So he picks that letter up, runs out the door, but she's a little ahead of him, and he lives like in an apartment building, so he has to catch an elevator, go down, and like he runs out after her and sees her across the road getting in her cab. So he shouts for Gayatri, but she doesn't hear him.
Oh, so this is Gayatri who wrote them? You said
Yeah.
Radhika. Oh.
Did I say Radhika?
Yeah.
Fuck my life. Sorry. Now that he's back in Sydney and in his apartment, he has gotten a letter from Gayatri every single day, confessing her love for him and like apologizing that she shouldn't have broken up with him and all of that. So he runs after Gayatri, and she's getting into a cab, and like somebody hires her to take them to the airport. So Raj also runs up to the cab, and he's like, I need to talk to you. Gayatri turns, and like she's very happy to see him, but she's also a little upset, right? Because apparently it's been 6 months since he's gone.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it took him that much time to go to Amritsar and then Italy and everything. So he sits in the cab. This guy and his son, who are running late to the airport, also sit in the cab, and Gayatri is driving them, and like Raj and Gayatri start talking, and she's like, hi, and he's like, hi, how are you? And she's like, why do you care now? Like, why haven't you replied to any of my letters for 6 months? I have written you every single day. He's like, oh, actually, I was out of station. I was out of town. And she's like, for 6 months? And he's like, yeah, but I'm back now. Like, what do you want to say to me? And they start arguing, and this guy and his son are like, and then she stops driving right outside the airport. She stops driving, and she's like, get out of the cab. And Raj is smiling that she's asking the other two people to get out, and then that guy is thinking she's asking Raj to get out, and then she's like, everybody get out of the cab. So this guy and his son, they just accept their defeat and start walking. It's like, fine, I think we're gonna miss our flight and whatever. Then Gayatri and Raj finally talk to each other, and she's mad at him, like, why did you ghost me? You could have at least told me that you were leaving. And she's like, and Raj is like, I tried, bitch. You wouldn't answer my phones. You ghosted me. You stopped talking to me. So I had to go and apologize to these other people that I heard, because I thought I think I deserved what you did to me. But she's like, no, I mean, I was wrong. I really love you. If you want to marry me, you can marry me, but we still live our lives the way we are. Like, nothing has to change. Just fine, I will marry you. And then they kiss and make up, and the end.
Why does he want to get married? Because that's like, why did he change his mind?
Like,
do we know?
He always wanted to marry.
Oh,
her.
he wanted to?
Yeah, that he proposes.
No. As in, like, in general. Like, I thought
because I don't know why he decided. I think because Gayatri was different, because she was independent. I don't know. Radhika was also independent, but I don't know what he saw in Gayatri. He just wanted her.
I guess like forever just means marriage then. Like, he finally met someone that he wants to have forever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, equivalent to marriage.
I mean, in India, right?
Yeah.
Like in that time, in 2008, if you want to be with someone forever, you marry them.
Yeah.
So
he saw that in her, but not the other ones.
He saw her as marriage material. So he's like, okay, I want to marry you. And Gayatri's like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
You're a douchebag. You're a flirt. So no. But then she all changes her mind. She's like, I can't lose you. So fine, I'll marry you.
I mean, as long as she gets to live her life too.
Yeah.
Which is also, I think, what he wants to, because he doesn't want.
So if she changes her lifestyle, she's not the person he fell in love with anymore.
Yeah. So I guess
they just needed to talk it out a little bit and not get like a fine break up after that proposal.
Yeah, I'm like, well, technically both of them are the perfect match then.
Yeah.
Because like he also wants someone who lives their own lives and stuff, rather than just it being revolved around him.
Yeah. Or maybe he was just at the point in his life where subconsciously he didn't realize, but he knew he was ready, because in comparison to Gayatri and Radhika, I feel like Radhika was also independent, living her own life on her own terms. Like she was already a model when she met Raj.
Yeah.
He was just not ready at that point. He did not believe in love, or like he just wanted to live the bachelor life. So he did that to Radhika, which was unfair to her.
Yeah.
But then with Gayatri, like he got a little bit of the karma back and he realized and all of that. It was just, timing.
Yeah.
Love is nothing but timing.
I guess so. Because I was like, well, Radhika and Gayatri are like kind of similar in a sense that they have their independence.
Yeah.
But how come he saw it with
Gayatri and not
not
Radhika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he, like, if the same situation were to come up where he was like, oh, we're married, but I have to go to this place, like to the UK for work and stuff. And then he pulls the same shit, like, oh, I don't want to tell her. But he wouldn't do that with Gayatri for some
No.
reason, but he would do it with Radhika.
I think with Radhika, he was also not actually in love with her. She was in love with him. He was
Yeah.
just saying things to keep her because he was really happy. He was living with a girl he wasn't married to. He was having the time of his life.
Yeah.
So he was getting everything he wanted without the cost of, like, the commitment.
Yeah.
So, and the moment it became that, at the point came, like, I have to decide whether I keep her or the job or like both of them. He's like, fuck that, I'm just gonna.
Yeah. And I think marriage came into the picture too quickly because I was in shock when you told me, like, okay, she's like, okay, well, in 5 weeks we can get married and then go.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Why would you want to get married like so soon and so fast?
Radhika at that point was ready to give up her career and everything. Because,
she was?
Yeah. I mean, if she moved to Sydney with him, what happened to her? And that's what Raj thought. So Raj thought that Radhika will never propose marriage and like let him go because
She'll pick her career.
She'll pick her career. But then she turned out to be, just like every girl that he hated. Like, oh no, they're all about marriage and kids. And she turned out to be that. So he's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm definitely leaving.
Okay. Then that makes it more clear why he chose Gayatri then.
Yeah.
Because she was like, hell no, I'm not picking you over my career. As it should be.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I was a little upset by Radhika when she's like, yeah, I'll give up everything.
Yeah.
It's like, it's our future. If like I'm happy where you are happy. I was like, no, girl, this is not, please.
No.
Yeah.
Pick your career. I mean, like, see, there are situations, but that early on, when you're just like, I'm sure, I don't know
So they were together for a year and a half.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, focus on your career. You're young.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why would you have to give it up? I mean, it would have been different if she was just like, okay, I mean, like, my agency also has the same thing in Sydney.
Yeah.
So relocation isn't a problem. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But then for her to completely be like, it's okay, I'll just drop it. I'll figure it out later. I'll just move with you. Like, no. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And he didn't want that either. So clearly, like...
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's a happy ending. Because I think they are the perfect match.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because part of me was just like, oh, why did she take him back?
Yeah.
Like, why did Gayatri take him back? She should leave him in dust. And I was like, no, actually, they're
perfect. Like, he never judged Gayatri for what she did.
Yeah.
He was always proud of her and in awe of her, like how independent she was. Like, she was working 2 jobs and in school, and she was really smart. Like, she would pick up on conversations from the people that she would drive around and like take notes of stocks, and like the video game he was working on, she knew everything about it. He was impressed. She's like, oh yeah, this game, like she starts talking about the stocks and how good it is doing and everything, and he's just like, wow, like, who is this woman? I've never met anyone like her.
Damn.
Yeah. Gayatri was a gem.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say something I forgot. Oh, yeah. And then she never judged him for like his...
She mocked him.
Yeah.
He really liked that. Like, she was always making fun of his lifestyle, but he was always a little, like, intimidated by her. Even though if you see it from like a societal standpoint, like he was doing better than her, but like personality-wise, personal life, she was a more sorted person than Raj was. Raj was a mess when he met Gayatri.
Yeah. So I think the issue that he had, if we're getting into it, I think the issue he had with Mahi is that, like, they were really
kids.
young. Like, yeah, they were children.
Yeah, and they met
kids.
for 24 hours,
Yeah.
in which she fell in love, thinking he is the love of her life.
Of her life.
She was a naive girl.
Yeah.
But in that really tender age, the trauma that she experienced just derailed her life for the next 12 years. Like, she was married, she had kids, but she had no love. It was a loveless marriage, which was really sad for her. Like, she should have gotten help. But who talks about this stuff in India?
Yeah. It's sad that, like, that romance, quote unquote romance, lasted for a day, technically, and it fucked her up for life.
Yeah, it did. Like, she stopped believing in love after that.
That's crazy.
That story still in my head, like, lacks substance and foundation. But like Radhika and Gayatri's stories are really rooted in like reality.
Yeah.
And like these people crossed or had enough time with each other to have these issues and experiences together. Like Mahi and Raj was just like a vacation thing.
It's so young.
Yeah. But when I was watching this movie, I realized that Bipasha Basu, who plays Radhika, has the most screen time. Like, her stories are the longest. Like, her plot of them being together was the longest, and then the forgiveness part was the longest. I was like, I wonder why. But then I also realized this is 2008. Bipasha Basu is like a huge actress at this point, and Deepika Padukone is just starting. So that's the reason, like, Bipasha Basu got so much screen time in this movie.
Yeah.
Mahi, who is like played by Manisha Lamba, has the shortest screen time. And then Deepika Padukone, obviously, who's Gayatri, is just like, there. But Bipasha Basu as Radhika has the most screen time.
Oh, interesting. How would you compare his behavior, like him in love with Radhika versus like with Gayatri?
He was never in love with Radhika.
Okay.
Never. He was just fucking around. He was getting regular sex. He had a hot girlfriend. He was living on his own, earning a good money. That was all that man cared about at that point in 2002. But with Gayatri, when he met Gayatri, even though he was older, still living the bachelor life, but I think he had matured enough to realize the person that he had found.
Yeah.
So he was actually in love with Gayatri. He was never in love with Radhika. She was in love with him.
Yeah.
Even the last night that they're together, when Radhika is packing her bags, she says, I love you to him. And he's like, me too, baby. I love you. And he makes a face. Like, he never meant it. You can see it on screen. Like, he never meant that he was in love with her ever. He was just having fun. He thought Radhika was also having fun because she's like the modern girl.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the modern girl angle.
Yeah. Because he's like, oh, she's living with me without marriage. She's like, not afraid of all of this. She's not the typical girl. She's not going to be sad and upset if I were to leave her. She's going to move on. And then even that, like, that hurt Radhika too. She's like, because you thought I was that kind of a girl, you thought I didn't deserve love and like, a long-term relationship or marriage and all these kinds of things. You made me feel so cheap about myself because you used me and left me.
Yeah.
And I thought I only deserved that. So I became a cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah.
And you did that to me. So no, I will not forgive you. But then she eventually did because she's like, I'm tired. I want to move on from this because I've been thinking about you for 10 years and I don't want to think about you anymore.
Yeah. So they became like cordial. She's like, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, you go, bygones be bygones, fuck off. Like,
get out of my face.
Get out of my face. Yeah, over. So it's done.
Yeah. I'm glad that they didn't show her with like a hot, sexy boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't do that because that I think would have ruined the whole
her character development.
Yeah.
She was always a strong, independent woman.
So I'm glad that they kept it that way.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I got a hot boyfriend to replace you. No. She just
closed off herself from love. Or any kind of feelings.
Rip.
Yeah.
That's a good movie, though.
Yeah. The
I loved
songs
it.
are also really good.
I love the songs.
Yeah.
I love the song. I forgot how it goes, but like I watched the music video, like the one where they're on the moped.
Oh, the song with Mahi.
Yeah.
Ahista,
I love that song. And then you have the she's a small town girl.
Yeah, that happens when he goes to apologize to Radhika. That happens in Italy.
Yeah.
She's a small town girl.
Yeah. It's good songs.
Songs are good from that movie. Even the title song, Bachna Ae Haseeno.
That's his dad's song, right?
Yeah,
nice.
His dad's song.
I love it when they do that. I don't care if they say Nepo babies. Iconic,
definitely.
It's iconic.
Yeah, that song is also one of the few that the remix is as good as the original, if not better. Like there's Tip Tip Barsa Pani.
Tip Tip Barsa Pani. I love it.
Yeah, that remix is really good, and then this song's remix is really good.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah. Also, the English part that they added to the song, like, "Hey baby, when you see me coming, hey baby, you better run for cover."
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, it was so catchy. I was in love with the song.
It's a good song.
Yeah, the soundtrack for this movie is amazing.
So, like, out of 10, how would you rate this movie?
Maybe a 7.
Like, how? For why?
For all the nonsense of the male thinking nonsense that's in this movie. Like, you know, how men think about women and love, and like, this is all for weak people, and like, I don't believe in love, and like all the toxicity. For that, I was like, no, please.
Yeah.
Just respect, you know, some sort of respect. Like, you want everything from this woman, but then you don't respect her. Like, she's something you use and then you throw away. That I did not like.
Yeah. Like just dangling it in front of her. Like, here you go. Oh, you can't have it.
Exactly. Just the way he treated Mahi was really bad. Then Radhika was also really, really unfair to her.
Yeah.
Then he got what he deserved with Gayatri.
Yeah. Hey, doesn't he get tired with like fucking around?
I guess not.
Like, how many times do your clothes have to be tossed out the window and you in the cold? Like, and for you to just be like, oh, I just feel like eating. Like, what kind of person do you have to be to just be like, oh, okay, I got kicked out. I feel like eating pizza.
And the thing is, we don't know anything about Raj's past. Like, his upbringing, his parents, if he has siblings or not. So we don't even know where all of these issues that he have stem from.
That's true. Bollywood, you know what you should do? English. They should have a like pre Bachna Ae Haseeno thing, but with his parents and like growing up, like what he sees and stuff and why he does. But the thing is, that's a really sad movie. That could be a really sad movie.
That's true.
That could be really...
Yeah, nobody would watch that.
I wouldn't watch it, but I'd like to know.
Yeah. I mean, we can, like, given how do I say this?
Given his personality
and knowing what we know about how people who behave like this have like backgrounds and stuff, we can add our own speculations, right? Maybe he comes from a broken family, but like maybe his parents were married but there was no love, or they got married for love and then separated, or he didn't have a father figure or a mother figure in his life. Any number of those scenarios could have led him to be this kind of a person.
Okay, let's psychoanalyze him a little bit. So he, in the end, he does want marriage. Okay, he does want to find the love of his life, but he wants to find a woman who, like, focuses on herself and her independence.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's like. So then maybe his mom wasn't so independent that he wants someone who is more independent. But men tend to go for people who are like their moms.
Yeah.
So maybe his mom was really independent
Mhm.
and he like wants that.
Or maybe he just grew up without parents. He just grew up with other men telling him how he should be as a man.
Yes,
Like he never saw a loving couple.
you're right. You're right.
Because you know how, like, if you are 14, like a 16-year-old guy would try to teach you, like, you know, how to act with girls and how to talk to them. Maybe that was his upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, he was just taught by men how to treat women.
Yeah.
Never had a woman's touch in his life.
Mm-hmm. And then shitty friends.
Shitty friends, yeah. Sachin was a bad friend. He was just an ableist.
Like, yeah, man, you're so cool. Fucking all these girls. Look.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Like, the moment Raj wanted to marry Gayatri, he stopped him actually. I was like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Sachin didn't want Raj to marry Gayatri. But with Radhika, he's like, no, you should tell her.
But then if Sachin finds the love of his life, then Raj isn't going to stop him. Yeah. Sachin's going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to ditch your wedding and everything. Like, he'd be the type to be like, I'm going to ditch my company, like our company, so I can go marry the love of my life.
Yeah.
And then Raj is going to be like, wait, but I thought you didn't, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I've grown up, blah, 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 blah. But then if Raj were to marry someone, then Sachin would be like, oh, I'm alone.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. And the shitty friends. Because Sachin has been there
since they were kids, I guess.
Since they were kids.
Yeah.
So does this come under the Playboy in love?
Honestly, no. So Raj's character is so shallow and just such a waste that I wouldn't even honestly.
Such a waste.
He is such a waste that I don't want to put him in that category because that's an insult to that category.
That's true.
He has no substance.
He has no substance, no heart, really. His heart is, what's her name? Gayatri.
Yeah.
That's his whole heart.
Exactly.
But he himself doesn't have one. He had to adopt one.
Yeah.
Borrow it.
Yep.
From Gayatri.
Yep. So no, I would not put Raj in any category. He does not deserve to be in any of them.
You said he has no substance. That's so true.
Yeah.
I don't know what category.
I mean, he is an insult to the character Raj. Raj has been played by Shah Rukh Khan. And for them to put Ranbir Kapoor in this character named Raj, how dare you?
Yeah.
Disrespect. Raj in this movie didn't even know what DDLJ was and who played it, or like who was Raj in it. He didn't even know, oh, Shah Rukh Khan? Oh, okay. It's like, have you been living under a rock? What do you mean you don't know who Shah Rukh Khan is and what DDLJ is?
That's stupid.
Yeah.
I should have at least known.
The writers of this movie, they tried to make this character so unlikable, but they just ended up making a stupid man. I'm just ripping him into shreds.
You're just stupid, man.
Yeah. Like if he knew about DDLJ and Shah Rukh Khan and then he decided to, take inspiration from that movie and do what he did to Mahi, that would have made more sense. But he was just airhead.
Are we sure that he wasn't like pretending like, oh, I don't know?
No, I think because he was talking to Sachin, I'm sure he wouldn't lie to Sachin.
Lie, yeah, because if he was telling Mahi like, oh, I haven't watched it, this is just like he just plagiarized it.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I mean, like
what do you mean, Shreya?
I used to plagiarize
DDLJ?
Not DDLJ, but like, oh, I've never heard of that. And then just be like, from the top of my head, blah, blah, blah. Only school assignments though. Okay, it was one time we were in music class and I was just dicking around. Everyone was working on whatever stuff and I was left by myself, so I didn't know what to play. And then everyone, like, I didn't know, I thought we were just playing whatever and having fun, right? But then my music teacher is like, all right, everyone, let's showcase what you're working on. Everyone goes and then it's my turn. And he's like, play something. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know. So what do? I play the theme song. And then they're like, wow, that is beautiful. How'd you come up with that? You're so talented.
Oh my god.
And I was like, really? Thank you.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, that's
there was no other brown child in our class.
No, this is the UK.
That's how you got away with it.
I got away with it every time. I shit you not. They thought I was a musical genius. They really thought. They were like, oh my god, these melodies, they're so good. And you just came up with that? And I'm like, yeah. Every time.
You were the first Preetham before Preetham was a thing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Because that could have easily been him. Like, he is... I've never heard of DDLJ before,
but then apparently he did a crash course on it because he was directing that street band to play the theme song.
Oh, yeah.
So see, like plot holes like this, like the writers was just like, yeah, let's just, throw this in or throw that in.
Oh.
Make it make sense.
He was directing the musicians?
Yeah, Raj was.
So he had to know.
I guess.
Ugh. But I like the writers, for one thing, though, that they gave her the plot line of DDLJ.
Yeah, Mahi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she got what she wanted. She did manifest it.
Yeah.
But that's, like, not a good film to manifest. That's what I say. I'm like, be careful what you manifest because it will happen. Choose your movies carefully because if you pick movies, they will
happen to you.
They will happen to you.
I think all the movies that we watched in our childhood, we should watch again.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it will spoil the fantasy that we have about those movies, like because we will analyze them with a grown-up brain. But then it is, I think, also valuable to save ourselves from disasters. Like, I don't want to end up in a plot from DDLJ.
Yeah.
That was not completely okay.
No.
None of these movies are, honestly.
Yeah. There are a couple. Don't ask me what. I don't know which ones to idolize Bollywood-wise because they're all a little bit, like, iffy. That's where the entertainment... It is drama. Come on. Bollywood
that is true.
Drama.
It is drama. And we all love it. I mean, I might sound like I hate them, but I don't. Like, I absolutely love this shit.
Yeah.
I grew up with these movies. These movies made me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I was obsessed with the songs from this movie.
Yeah.
So no hate to that, but, like,
it's the drama.
It's the drama.
And the gasps, too. Like,
yeah.
I was like, what? Like, I don't want people gasping at my life.
No.
Like, in real life, I'm like, no, please, shut up. Don't gasp. But when you're watching it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really any Bollywood film to idolize. Tararam is cute, but that is really sad.
I don't like the tragedy in that.
It's really
just,
tragic.
No.
It's so sad.
I love Tararam too.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I forgot what happens, though.
You want me to tell you right now? I can tell you.
Yeah.
Really, very briefly.
Okay.
So Saif Ali Khan is a race car driver. Rani Mukherjee is a daughter of a really rich man. They fall in love. He starts competing for, I think he's a NASCAR driver and he's competing for like Ferrari or something. So they get married against her father's wishes, and then he's doing really well at his work and everything, and he's earning a lot of money, and they have 2 kids and everything. But then he gets into a really bad accident and he can't compete anymore because he's now traumatized of getting behind the wheel. So they're financially struggling. The kids don't know that their parents are financially struggling. They have to sell off their home, all their jewelry, everything. They have move into a smaller apartment, and they're struggling to a point that when Rani Mukherjee, she's a pianist, so when she goes to functions and stuff, like birthday parties and stuff, she steals food from their table to give to her kids and stuff. Like, the kids are struggling so much that her son was hungry one day and he didn't have food to eat, so he grabs something from a trash can and ends up eating a piece of glass that injures him, and he starts coughing up blood, and like they go back into like he's admitted to the hospital, like he almost loses his life, and like they need a lot of money for his operation. But then Saif Ali Khan, at the end moment, he's like, fine, I will get over my fear, I will drive for this race and get the money. And like he got into an accident because his rival was playing like driving dirty. So because of the rival team's car, Saif Ali Khan gets into a really bad accident. Like he had to go to rehab and stuff. Like he injured his spine and everything.
Shit.
So he's like, I have to save my son. So he competes one last time and then he wins the race, gets the money, and he saves his son, and like they become a happy family again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then he starts competing again.
Okay.
But yeah.
I like that because like they never hated each other, I don't think, in the movie.
No.
They always were very supportive and understanding of each other.
Yeah. Rani Mukherjee's father didn't want her to marry Saif Ali Khan because he was like, he's like, he's beneath you, and like I can get you married to a really rich person, and like, none of that. But she's like, no, I love him. I'm going to marry him.
Her dad didn't want to help her out.
No, because she gets disowned by her dad when she marries Saif Ali Khan.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was a good movie. It was.
Yeah.
But it was really sad. The whole struggle with the money and like how
I remember
they try to keep their kids happy and all of that was just heartbreaking. Yeah. At the end, they finally get their house back. The ring that she had to sell off, that was a gift from Saif Ali Khan. He buys that back for her, and like they go back to living a more comfortable life.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of the early movies where I'm like, okay, the main characters aren't.
Yeah, they're not problematic.
No, it's just the situation is very tragic.
True.
But I can't think of anything from the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should write a list of all of the movies in that era and then see which ones
is problematic and which are okay to idolize.
Which one are okay to idolize.
Done.
And the different kinds of problematic categories and everything. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Our weekend activity. Okay. But that's an episode here.
Okay.
If this episode piqued your interest and you want more details, then watch the movie. See you in the next episode.